Welcome back to another episode of West Virginia Smoking, Grilling, and Outdoors. I'm back today to do a deer tenderloin, well, several deer tenderloins rather. My kids and I had just gone hunting, and each one of them killed their first bucks this year, so I'm very excited about that. We will be doing a very similar method to what we did in my last video with the salt brine, only this time it's going to be for a 24-hour period. I've had it resting in the refrigerator since last night. Also, I will be doing a reverse sear on it in a cast iron pan. So I'm going to be doing stuff a little bit differently. I'm going to be getting the fat from the butter this time instead of from the bacon. The tenderloins here in Appalachia, or at least in my area of Appalachia, we like to refer to as inner loins. But I will not waste any more of your time with this intro, and we will get straight to the doing of the meat. Last evening, to prepare the meat, I salted every square inch of meat and put it over top of drip trays on a cooling rack in order to get a dry brine as well as to get just a little bit of age to the meat. Since tenderloin is a thinner cut of meat, I like to keep it a little more simple with just applewood chips, beer, and apple cider vinegar. Back to the meat. On this, I like to keep the seasoning very simple. Since the salt has already penetrated deep into the meat, I just put a little bit of cracked pepper on each side, and then I prepare to smoke it. The smoker has reached a temperature of 225 degrees, and the smoke coming out is a nice blue color. So it is time to get the tenderloins into the smoker. I will also note that the moisture tray was filled up with the leftover beer and apple cider vinegar from the soaking wood chips. The tenderloins of a deer is a much thinner cut of meat, so it only takes about a half an hour to reach the temperature in which you want, which in this case is 125 degrees before I take it out of the smoker. While the meat is reaching its last temp, I go ahead and melt some butter in a pan over a very low temperature because you don't want to burn the butter. After it's melted, I add a little bit of garlic with a little bit of fresh rosemary, and then our temperature has been hit, so it's time to take the meat out of the smoke. I do a tilt pan method to sear my meat, so the butter goes to one side and the high heat is on the other. I add the meat in, ladle over our butter, rosemary, and garlic mixture over each piece of meat, making sure to get every little bit of the meat because you don't want to miss out on that butter, garlic, and rosemary mixture. After we get it ladled over and you get a good sear on at least that one side, there are 4 in this case, you keep flipping it over. You flip it over each time just to get the sear on each side. As you notice, I've got a little bit of grill marks from my smoker, but man oh man, that smoke ring inside is wonderful. You continue to ladle over the butter, garlic, and rosemary mixture until you've covered every square morsel. After which, you take the meat out and you begin to do the slicing. Man oh man, you can see the smoke ring in there. This meat is so tender, I could literally cut it with a spoon if I wanted to. Just look at all those juices coming out. I must add that I let the meat rest for 10 minutes. But look at that. That is delicious. Time to plate up. Can't go wrong with meat, potatoes, and macaroni and cheese. All I can say is it's time to taste. Yeah. You better believe it. That is a tasty piece of meat. It's been another wonderful day of smoking meat here in my household. I went ahead and done that tenderloin. I would like to note that I took the internal temperature to 135 degrees while I was searing it, which I believe is the optimal temperature for a tenderloin. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you would, please. And as always, from the field to the table and from my house to yours, this is West Virginia smoking, grilling, and outdoors. I'll see you on the next one.